Hello there, I'm Dr. Bosky. I'm the creative director for a game called Interstellar Sentinel, and today I thought I would share with you in our tips and tricks series the advanced look behind the different weapons in the game. So, in the regular main game, you have essentially the ability to come to the weapon room, and what I recommend for you is you come up here and you spawn your different weapons. So we've already talked about what power-ups do, so let me just show you. So this is your normal weapon. As you upgrade, weapons get more, they get more utility in their upgrade as opposed to just getting completely more powerful. So also recommend that every time you pick up a weapon set, you try your rapid shot, which is what I'm using here, the top weapon, and you try your power shot, the bottom weapon there. All right, so here we go.
Weapons up.
You can see here, I now have the rapid shot as a front and back. We got more missiles, and we have a plasma laser.
Weapons up.
We got more of a spread shot. Our auto shot is now this back fan. Also very, very cool is one of the things you can do. One of the things you can do here is, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but you can take the center origin of this and you can basically dunk this inside an enemy, and then all of a sudden this is going to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets worth of damage at the origin. So it's kind of like a reverse shotgun in that case. So it's always important to think about those types of things. All right, and let's see, get back in here. There we go. So we looked at that. The general rule of thumb. Look at this thing. Oh my God. So it's very Einhander in terms of inspiration. So this is like a plasma rope laser. So, that wasn't what I wanted to do.
Weapons up.
Oh no.
Weapons up.
There we go. God, jeez, man. Okay, one more time.
Weapons up.
There we go. Not used to not used to being in my editor and doing these things. So anyways, the point I was about to make there is the rule of thumb is if it's a short range weapon, and this is definitely a short range weapon, it is pretty freaking powerful. So now sometimes we alternate between the rapid shot and the power shot. We do have short range weapons. So, you know, there's still on average, the power shot is 10 times more stronger than the rapid shot, but we flipped the script a little bit. What I highly recommend is that it takes time to get used to. There's a lot to ask players. It's a lot of fun to get into the flow of though. So if you see these short range weapons
up.
They are balanced with that. Auto shots typically are a little bit lower power because they're automatic and homing. So, for instance, in this weapon set, the BFMs, the big FM missiles, do lots of damage. You'll again notice that in every weapon set, there's some type of vacuum utility.
Weapons up.
So we got this quadra spread, which is cool for your rapid, and then we got this big triple chain laser, which is super, super cool. So
Weapons up.
a little bit of change here, but our auto shot becomes a homer, which is cool. And then here you have the infinity laser. And the infinity laser, which is really, really cool, is this continues to be one beam of damage. So as it gets into, as it passes through enemies, it will continue to tick damage on them, which is really, really great. So great for clearing lots of lower health enemies in this case, even though it's a power shot, but it's continuous damage, which is super cool. All right.
Weapons up.
So here we have the heavy shot scattered shotgun. So this is one of those cases where you can actually rapidly tap, great if you're on an arcade stick, to increase the rate of fire as opposed to the rate of fire when you're slowing down. Little pro tip there. And the bottom weapon here is the quadra plasma. So pretty fun.
Weapons up.
Here, also something that people don't notice necessarily. So I catch this. There we go. So you've got these they're bigger, chunky bullets, so a little bit better for your rapid shot. But then you notice all these crazy, like, sparkly bits, right? So these are bullets. Every bullet that you have is always in the yellow color spectrum. So we generally don't use yellow for enemies, and we don't use yellow for enemy attacks. So you can start to map like, oh, if you see it and it's yellow, then it belongs to your weapons and it's generally safe. So the cool part is the auto, this is basically what I call the auto scatter shotgun. So it gets summoned out of the portal, and then look at this thing. It basically creates a wall of stasis pellets. So they show up and then they hang out for a tiny bit of time and then they disappear. How cool is that? Oops, that's my weapon downgrade. We talked about that. Check this out. Oh. So the thing about this, first of all, it sounds amazing. But the thing about this weapon is that these big singularity orbs are really fun. They have, again, you can see the backward utility. These will pass through enemies. It has piercing property. Super, super cool.
Weapons up.
Here we have a version of the Quinta shot with a little bit of an extra like ripple effect. So, and here you can see you get backwards utility. I mean, look at this dominance you have right now. Like this is nutty. Also, you look at you get the missile fan here, super cool. Again, in the yellow color spectrum. So, and as you would expect, right? If you dunk this whole weapon inside of an enemy, you're going to get each one of these bullets worth of point blank damage. So very, very cool stuff. And there we go. Aha! Here's the plasma scythe. Now you know it's a short range weapon, but it's interesting. Now you have the ability to clear things at the top. You don't have to, it's all about keeping yourself safe to some degree. And unfortunately, when you're using short range weapons, there's a lot more risk to get closer to the enemy types. But imagine how much damage you could do if you manage to get this dunked into an enemy. Yeah. All right.
Weapons up.
Here we got a bit more of a nice, like, traditional rapid shot. We got the Homer missiles. Cool. And then we have this crazy singularity shot. So check this out. Oh my goodness. So it's a little bit weird with the angles, which is cool, but it's hard to map these things, right? So once you start to map them, and that's why you have the ability to always stay on a weapon set if you want, but each one of these have pierce. But imagine each one of these strands, they can start being point blanked into an enemy, and then you have the crazy off angle utility. Super fun. All right, down here.
Weapons up.
Ooh, the Octoplasma Tentacle. Yeah, look at this thing. So, short range weapon, but it's an auto homer. Check this out. Yeah, pretty cool, right? And the bottom set is basically a missile fan. This thing does a lot of damage too. It's a missile spread fan. And you have essentially, so you have here you'll see the missiles. The missiles basically have this kind of falling circular cadence thing. So it gets you to think differently how you position yourself. Here we've got the spread that we talked about here, of course. And I think that's the main stuff there. All right, let's do the next one.
Weapons up.
Ooh, this one's one of my favorites. So, super cool. So one of the cool things about this, so this gives you this this is basically a damage field, right? So each one of these beams does damage. So now you can get close, and this will destroy low health enemies very easily. But then you have you basically have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so the octa or the penta, cinca, whatever. The 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so the octa like kind of plasma tentacular rapid shot. And again, that means that if you point blank with this does a lot of damage. Super fun. But yeah, get you to think about differently there. And the bottom weapon for this is then a Sunfire Beam homing shot. So you have that situation where if you use your power shots, because they have a charge up, and sometimes they have they have their cooldown. In this case, it means that you can't just rely completely on one weapon type. You have to pick the weapons for the situation, and that becomes part of the core game. All right, check the next one.
Weapons up.
Ooh, the flux capacitor beam. Also, by the way, bonus points if you want to write your initials D. Okay. So what the heck is going on right now? So, all right. So one is you have the flux capacitor kind of ripple ring, which is super fun. Gives you to think about differently your positioning, of course. But also you have what I'm calling these are like laser stasis fields. So they come out of your auto shot area, and then as you're playing as you fly, they basically then create these fields in which if enemies run into them, then they take damage from that. So it gets you to think differently. It's one of my favorite weapons, but it also means that you can do a good amount of damage by laying these like laser stasis mines on top of enemies. And let's see here. Get rid of that. Let's go back in. And then the bottom shot for this. Also, little extra thing here with this power shot. So you see the backward utility, does a lot of damage. It actually increases its rate of fire the longer you hold it down. Yeah, so it's kind of fun there. So, all right, next shot. Right.
Weapons up.
So, a fun, nice, big spread. Lots of people enjoy that. And then the fun part here is you have basically these singularity orbs. This is one of my favorites. And then one of the other ones that we have is I call them, they're basically like these interlinked plasma ropes. And so they come from your auto shot right here, and then they shoot out, and then they home towards things. So again, anything in the yellow spectrum belongs to you. All right. We're almost done.
Weapons up.
There you go. We got kind of this ripple ring thing. We got a lot of backwards shot. Then you have the laser. It's like a plasma beam. A laser had a baby. And of course, as you expect,
weapons up.
Okay. So here we got these cool on the rapid shot. There's utility, a little bit lesser, more spread on the spread itself. And then you have the vertical laser itself, much more maintaining a good dominance over your enemies. And then the power shot is, oh yeah, look at this thing. Oh my gosh. And by the way, let's see here. Can I do this? I don't have enough fingers. Nope. There we go. All right. So this electric stasis or electric orb lasher is pretty great. So you have the inner part, which does damage, but each one of these beams also can do damage. So it's a little bit slow on the windup, but you shoot one of these, boosh, and then you switch back and forth, and it feels like it's a lot of fun when you get in the flow of it. And then we have an upgraded version of the stasis field, which so this one lasts longer, which is super cool. And yeah, you can start to see how things switch back and forth. Yeah, all right.
Weapons up.
Vertical spread. This weapon set definitely slayed. The auto shot itself. So this one inherently breaks people's brains, right? So because you have the vertical spread, it means you have to think entirely differently about your positioning, but you still have the origin. And then you have basically, you can see these here. You have basically these missile fans, and the missile fans actually are spawned out of your auto shot. And then let's take a look at the bottom weapon set for this. Big sunfire plasma beam. This thing also grows. Disgusting.
Weapons up.
And then we have our rotator. This people are either hate it or love it with this type of thing, but I really enjoy this. We get a little bit slightly bigger rapid shot shots. And again, if you think about it more like a shotgun, it changes the way you think about the weapon. And then here on this weapon set, you have just people love this weapon set. So all the weapons. But the thing is that if you just rely on this and you don't switch, then you're going to miss out on getting that extra weapon damage out on the field, because to shoot your full volley of missiles, there's a cooldown in between. So and you reset those cooldowns as you flip back and forth between your weapon sets. So one of the things I like to do is I like to hold my rapid shot and then press my thumb down to the second button for the power shot, and you're kind of flipping back and forth. You'll find your own way. All right. And then last but not least,
weapons up.
Oh, God spread. So the thing is it's a great spread shot. It's really fast, high rate of fire. You have the auto utility when you see the quick star bits there. It's great for covering lots of the screen, but also one of my favorites. I call it the Seagull Laser. Squawk, squawk, Seagull Laser. And Seagull Laser, you can see that backward utility. Does a lot of damage as you expect. So this is the final weapon set that you can get to, and if you pick up any other weapons at this point, power-ups, you should still pick them up.
Weapons up.
Extra bonus points.
Weapons up.
It's not going to change the your weapons, but you can always downgrade if you need to, right?
Weapons down. Weapons up.
One little extra thing. You'll see these from time to time. We have a couple, I think 1 or 2 maybe in the caravan. All right. And then I always forget. I forget how many weapons we got in this game. And believe it or not, I kind of want to make more weapons. But, you know, that's a new thing. All right. So we also have a secondary set of weapons. Here. So these are called weapon power-up item plates, right? And you can see here that they kind of give you a preview of what they are. So where the normal power-ups that you just saw on the last screen always take you to the next weapon set, these weapon plates automatically take you to that weapon set. So for instance, if you find one of these here, right? And these are all in order, by the way. This will take you to the maximum weapon set. Very rarely do we do stuff like that. But we, in the main game, we give the ability to choose like between 3 weapon sets. You should always pick these up because they're kind of like my hints as to having good weapons and or having weapons that are really well suited for certain types or certain parts of the level. You don't have to, but they're going to give you the most score. But they're also, if you're behind and you're dying and you need to catch up, these also help you kind of bootstrap back to a stronger, more utility based series of weapons. Woo! That was a lot. If you made it this far, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.